session as well. And so as I mentioned, we have about 72 participants as of this moment. Welcome. Good evening, everyone. I am recording the session. We will post this video later on our YouTube channel. You can find links to our YouTube channel with all of our upcoming virtual orientation videos on Seton Hill, roadtothehill.setonhill.edu. Welcome to our second virtual orientation session. My name is Matthew Zielinski. I serve as the Director of New Student and Transition Programs. I get the honor of working with many great staff members and student leaders to help our new students and their family members in the transition to life at Seton Hill here. And so I'm happy to have 6 amazing student leaders to present to us today. Before we introduce our students, I want to run through some housekeeping notes. If you didn't hear me initially, you will be muted through this session. It's easier for us at this time to just leave you muted so you don't have to worry about us hearing your dogs or hearing you eat or anything like that, and so you don't have to worry about accidentally unmuting yourself. But we'd love to see your cameras if you leave those on so we can see your smiling faces. We ask that you please ensure again that your profile name is your full name. So students, we can give you proper attendance and shine, that this will count towards your path. If you're on a computer, you can click on your screen and the 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner to change your name there. Otherwise, if you're on a portable device, you can touch the screen and change your name there. But we want to make sure we know who we have here with us today. You can continue to use the chat feature to introduce yourself, to have a conversation, or to type in any questions. If you find that you're having any difficulty seeing or hearing us, we have found that sometimes turning your camera off makes it a little bit easier for your Wi-Fi or cellular signal to be able to hear us. So if you're having any difficulty, that might be an easy thing for you to do. In order to make sure that you see our presenters, if you're seeing a whole bunch of people right now in gallery view, in the upper right-hand corner, you should see a button to be able to click on speaker view. You'll find that putting this in speaker view will enable you to see the student panelists up in the front. But if you want to, always scroll through and see everyone else who's on here. But at least speaker view will help you be able to see the presenter. I have some pre-planned questions that we've had through social media come in, or that we've had some of you already ask us, that I have for our student leader panel. But you can feel free to type in any question that you have through the chat. Know that our student leader panel won't actually be looking at the chat. We'll be collecting all those questions. We're not going to ignore you. We're going to ask those questions in the second half of the session. So know if you have any questions, put it in there. We'll record them and ask them at a later point in time. And so with that being said, I'd like to go ahead and have our student leader panel introduce themselves, get to know a little bit about them before we start asking them some questions. And so Todd, would you go first, sir?
Hello, my name is Todd Griffin. I'm from Pittsburgh, PA. I'm an orientation leader, and I'm also a Bachelor of Arts musical theater major with a focus in acting.
Shannon.
I'm Shannon Hubble. I'm a commuter from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania. I'm a history and political science senior this year, and I'm in student government.
Courtney.
Hi everyone, my name is Courtney Cirie and I'm a senior from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. I'm currently a triple major in the business department with a Spanish minor, and I'm involved on the Seton Hill women's basketball team and several other clubs and organizations on campus.
Awesome. Lizzie.
Hi everyone, I'm Lizzie Prio. I'm from Berlin, PA. I'm also a junior in the physician assistant program with a minor in health sciences. I'm a Griffin guide and a student ambassador, as well as many other organizations on campus.
And Cece.
Hi there, I'm Cece Martz. I'm from Jeanette, Pennsylvania. I am a senior this fall. I am a criminal justice major and a double minor in psychology and computer forensics. And I am also involved in many organizations on campus.
And last but not least, Samara.
Hi, my name is Samara Roberts. I'm originally from the Virgin Islands. In the fall, I'm going to be a senior. I'm a biology major in the LECOM program, and I have a double minor in exercise science and psychology. I'm an orientation leader, president of the Black Student Union, programming board, and a bunch of other stuff on campus.
Awesome. And so our hope is that from these 6 student leaders, you see yourself in one of them. and can connect to their stories and what they're currently doing on campus. And so, Cece, if you could go first and tell us a little bit about what brought you to Seton Hill.
So a lot of things definitely brought me to Seton Hill. I graduated from a small high school, so I wanted a small campus for college. And then my mom is an alumni, so that definitely had a lot bringing me to the Hill.
And Lizzie.
Same with Cece. I graduated from a really small high school. I graduated with 69 people in my class, so I was definitely used to the whole small town atmosphere. In addition, I was really looking for a PA program, so that was initially one of the first things that brought me to Seton Hill. But overall, just the family atmosphere and just the connection to everyone on campus.
Shannon, what brought you to campus?
Whenever I was looking at colleges, I kind of thought that I wanted to be in a big school, and I came and visited Seton Hill because I have family connections. My mom basically grew up on the Seton Hill campus, but I came to Seton Hill and I loved it. The community atmosphere is just awesome, like the small school, like everybody else said.
Courtney, talk to us about your path.
Yes, so during the summer and during my junior year of high school, I decided I really wanted to play basketball in college because it was always a dream of mine. I was approached by the women's basketball coach, and he actually gave me the incredible opportunity to fulfill my dream. When I visited the campus, it was like the perfect distance from home that I could get home when I needed to and be far enough away to be my own person and to grow. And they really value family and your education, which just sold me, and because I know how important education is for everybody, and how important family is to everyone on campus too. So.
And Samara, your path to Seton Hill.
I feel like when people hear I'm from the Virgin Islands, that's always the first question they ask me. It's oh, how'd you end up in Greensburg? But I went to a college prep high school, and Seton Hill actually came to my school for a college fair when I was in 10th grade. And at the time, when you're in that age, you're not really thinking too seriously about colleges. So at the college fair, I was just let me see how many pens I can get. So me and my friends were just going to a whole bunch of different schools and signing our names to get a few pens. And Seton Hill was actually one of the few schools that actually reached out to me and continued to follow up to be oh, hey, we saw that you signed up. Are you interested in blase, blase, blase? And I really appreciated that. And then when I came to visit the campus, it was just very welcoming, and I felt like this is where I needed to be, and here I am.
Last but not least, Todd.
Being a musical theater student, you have to get into the school, but after that, you also have to audition. So going through the audition process at multiple different schools, going to Seton Hill, talking to the professors, I got to see how active they were in the professional fields that they were in, and also how much they cared about our individual lessons and what we want to learn as far as us being actors ourselves. And having that as far as having a positive atmosphere and the teachers valuing what you want to learn on top of the curriculum that they already have was really important to me. So that's the reason why I definitely picked Seton.
All right, so yes, everyone has a different story, and so we look forward in our connections class. If you're going to have the connections class this fall, that's one of the things we hope to hear from you all as well as your path towards coming to Seton Hill. And so our next question, tell us about how you first got involved on campus. And so one of the tough things about going from high school to college is that transition of figuring out how to get involved. And so Shannon, if you could talk to us about your path on becoming a new student at Seton Hill and your path towards getting more involved.
Sure. As a new student, I was obviously pretty nervous, but I found that my professors were super friendly and wanted to get to know you. So the first thing that I ever did for Seton Hill was I spoke at a meet and greet thing for the history department, talking about the classes that I was taking and the professors and my advisor. So I used to not want to get involved in things, and I know that's terrible to say, but whenever I first got on campus, I'm I want to get my degree, I want to go, that was my goal. But having the professors reach out to me like that, and they cared that I, wasn't really like outgoing. I wasn't really trying to do much else other than get my degree. That kind of got me like thinking like maybe I should get involved more. And I ended up making lifelong friends, so.
Thank you. Cece, could you share about your involvement on campus?
So I was involved in a lot of things in high school, and I wanted to slow down coming to college. That did not work out as planned. But starting in the fall, I joined the marching band, and that created a network of amazing people, and I met a lot of amazing other student mentors and stuff like that, and they helped me get involved, and then I really found my niche on campus.
Thank you. Courtney.
Yeah, so similar to Cece, I was very involved in high school, and I loved being part of everything. Like anything you named, I was part of in high school. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I want to do that in college. Well, I'm a homebody. I like being at home. So going my first year, I actually wasn't involved in like anything other than basketball because I was just so nervous. And I just was like, I don't know if this is going to work out for me, things like that. And a couple of my older teammates actually recognized that I was like struggling a little bit. And they pulled me along and said, hey, like, come check this out. Like, I think you'd be good at this. Like, why don't you come with us? And they introduced me to a couple different people on campus. And I had the opportunity to speak with other mentors. And they really just sold me and said, you know what, why don't you give it a try? Based on your past, like it might be something you're interested in, and it stuck. And I really enjoyed it, and I'm so glad I did. I stepped out of my comfort zone, and I just kept moving forward because it was well worth it. And so that's pretty much how I was.
Sometimes you need those people to bring you through. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lizzie.
So similar to everybody else, I was involved a lot in high school. But I'm one of those people that are really shy unless I get to know you. So going into college, I was pretty nervous, but being in the physician assistant program, I was able to instantly connect with my roommates were all PAs, my neighbors across from me were all neighbors, and we're all PAs. So we instantly connected there, and then they were able to not drag me along, but I kind of would say drag me along to certain things that they were involved in, just like campus ministry, a Griffin guide, things like that they introduced me to. So just, again, goes back to that whole welcoming, like family atmosphere. You're just all just friends. So it's really nice to be able to do that with everybody.
And Todd.
Yeah, going along with everybody, I mean, like, you always want to be a part of something, even though you might not want to reach out as far, but like, when I started out being a commuter, I definitely wanted to be involved because, you know, everybody says you can't, or thinks that you can't get the college experience being a commuter, but that's really up to you and how you put yourself out there, because I only go home when I'm like either sleeping or eating pretty much. So, you know, I'm always on campus doing something to help out. So that's when I met Matt, and during my orientation, I got to see how being an orientation leader was. And, you know, talking to the Sisters of Charity and different orientation leaders, I found how awesome it would be. So that was the first thing I got involved in. And the Student Theater Activity Council is an awesome part of being a theater student. You can always be in something, even if you're not a major with the STAC. And that was one of the things that I really found a love for, being in the theater department.
Yes, day 2, we had Todd pegged as a future orientation leader. And so sometimes it just takes those little things that someone else will see in you. Samara, talk to us about your involvement.
So coming in as an international student, I was connected with MISO, which is a multicultural international student organization. And I used to spend a lot of time up there with Keisha, who's the director of the Multicultural International Student Organization. And she just kind of became like an unofficial mentor for me, and she was pointing out different clubs I can get involved in with stuff like BSU. So I feel like getting involved in BSU, it made me realize the importance of just getting representation in general when it comes to student leadership. So that really persuaded me to getting involved. And like, yeah, I was like pretty involved in high school and I enjoy it, but it's also just like something else to do outside of class. because I feel like, you know, as a biology major, I spent a lot of time studying and like doing schoolwork and stuff like that. But it's really nice to be like, oh, I'm gonna go hang out with, you know, MISO people, or I'm gonna go to the Pride Club meeting and just like hang out with people. So it's a good way to like get to know people. Like me and Courtney on the programming board together, and I felt like our paths probably would have never crossed if it wasn't for that, because we're in completely different majors and stuff like that. So you get to, because it's such a small school, it's really an opportunity to get to meet as many people as possible.
Awesome. I am going to pause after this question and say that if you have your camera and we can see you, go ahead and smile for a second. We're going to take a group photo that we'll put on our social media. And so 1, 2, 3. There we go. I'll move to the next screen here for the additional people. 1, 2, 3. And so we'll make sure to post this there. Oh, we got some more people hopping in who turned their camera on. That's fine. Go ahead, turn your camera on. We'll go smile. 1, 2, 3. All right, there we go. So we got to make sure we get you out there, get you on the Instagram, Facebook, so everyone can know you had some fun today. All right, so another question to follow up. Tell us about some of the important things that you learned during your first year that you want to share with our incoming students and families that are important lessons that you learned your first year. Courtney, could you go ahead and start us off for this one?
Yeah, so a couple of things that I learned is do everything during orientation weekend. Hopefully like things continue to move forward with the COVID, but do everything. You will regret it if you don't. This is like a one-time thing. I really missed out. So that was one thing. Don't go home every weekend. Trust me, you'll miss out on a lot of things. I did it. Went home every weekend, first semester freshman year, and I really regret doing that. In your dorm rooms, when you're in your room, keep the door open. That's when people walk by. You can like peek your head out, say, hey, let's be friends. You know, I made most of my friends in the dorm rooms, which is pretty cool. Always check your email. Like, don't ever stop checking your email. Make sure you have it on your phone, your iPad, your computer, and you're always getting notifications, because you will miss something if you don't, and it is super, super important. And lastly, this is a time for you to have like a completely fresh start. Like, yeah, you might be coming to Seton Hill with 1 or 2 people from your high school, or maybe none at all. You can be whoever you want. Don't step outside of your box and try something new. Like we don't know who you are. So be someone totally different, be the same. It's completely up to you, but don't feel like you have to continue doing what you're doing. This is a totally fresh start. So that's my advice for newbies.
That's a good list. It's a good list. Shannon, what do you have for us?
Specific to like what I struggle with my freshman year about like, you know, being secluded and being super like, I don't know, individualistic. Like I wasn't really thinking about getting involved in anything, any clubs or anything. I had to learn the hard way that college is not at all like high school, which was good for me. I did not have my best time in high school. So I was really excited to get to college and have a different type of atmosphere. So what I learned in freshman year was that the community aspect of Seton Hill that everybody mentioned earlier is really what kind of saved me, like kind of made me into the person that I am today, involved in like several organizations on campus, and I have an amazing group of friends. So being like outgoing and trying your best to like put yourself out there, even if you don't really want to, and even if you don't feel like it, like Courtney said, go to everything in orientation week, because I did not, and I do regret it like a lot, especially looking back being a senior now, and like all the good times that I missed out on. Not doing things like that is kind of a bummer. So that's what I would tell first year students.
And you never know, maybe in 4 years or 3 years, you'll be one of the people on the panel being able to have the same conversation with incoming students. There you go. Todd.
Different from what other people were saying, I did go to everything during my orientation. being that I was a commuter, you know, I wanted to make sure I was putting myself out there and trying different things. And I've met some amazing people. Like being a theater student, you know, there's the regular admin building where you have a lot of your classes, but the theater department, we have our own performing arts center and the Seton Hill Arts Center. And those are where mainly my classes are. So being able to go up the hill and meet different people up there when I have lunch is a great thing to have. So you basically have you're networking, meeting new people. Another thing I would say is, yeah, just be positive. You know, it's a new route you're taking. You know, you might not know everything. You might not know where everything is. Ask somebody. Everybody's going to want to help you. No one wants to see you fail. And top 10 fact right here, don't buy your books until your professor tells you to. I'll say it. I'm watching out for y'all. Don't buy your books until you need to, because there's a lot of books I bought that I didn't use, and I'm saving y'all money. There y'all go.
Samara.
I feel like for me personally, I learned how to be like more independent. Like my parents were like 8 hours away, so it wasn't like I could just go to them if I needed anything. And I feel like now that I'm a senior, I look back to my freshman year and I felt like a lot of that transition of, oh, I can't just go ask my mom to do this. I have to be like, what do you mean I have to get my own dentist appointment? What are you talking about? So like stuff like that really helped me. And I feel like even if you aren't far from home, still try to do things on your own first. And then if you can't figure it out, of course, like ask your parents or ask a family member or what's not. So that would be some things that I learned for myself. But the biggest advice I'd give is like, don't feel like you have to confine yourself to a group of people from the jump. Like, yeah, it's really good. You make great connections. Like I have connections I've made from the first day of Walking Weekend with people who I'm so friends with now. But there are also connections I made that weekend that I thought were going to be people who I was going to be friends with, who I would walk past like I don't know now. So I felt like if you put that pressure on yourself and you get so caught up on, oh, I thought we were supposed to be this gang and hang out all the time, but then it doesn't work out that way. Like don't let that stop you from feeling like that's your entire college experience now, you know? Like there are other people out there, you can meet new friends, you can get involved in other ways. So I felt like don't let 1 or 2 bad social experiences within the first couple weeks, you know, determine or like set your mind for how that's the rest of your college experience is going to be like. Because I can promise you, as someone who's going to be a senior in the fall, it's just not.
Cece.
This is a really hard list to follow. So I definitely think that all the advice that was given so far is spot on. I think college is what you make out of it. So whatever you put in is what you're going to get out, for sure. I also suggest not skipping any meals because you paid for that meal plan, and that's super important. And even if you think that no one's going to some little event on campus, everyone's going to show up. We're a very tight-knit community. So even if you're a few minutes early, everyone will show up and you'll meet tons of great people.
Thank you. And last for this one, Lizzie, important things. If you have anything else that we haven't mentioned, good thing this was recorded. This is the top list, right?
I would say going along with Courtney's, with leaving the door open, I would say talk to the people besides you in class. A lot of friends were made with that as well. Also, don't think that just because it's your first year of college and away from home or whatever, that you can just stay up the whole night, especially before an exam. Tried it out before, it doesn't work that well. And also, prepare yourself if you're ever planning on walking up the hill. Just prepare yourself. That's all I got.
If you're looking for the exercise, it's the best way around. If you're trying to do it in 2 minutes to get to class, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Footwear is very important. There you go. I want a reminder, we still have a few more questions that I have pre-prepared, but if you have any questions that pop up during this event, please feel free to put them in the chat. We'll record them and we'll make sure to ask them later on. So if any questions pop up at any time, you don't have to wait. Put the question in the chat and we'll make sure to vocalize it and ask it later on. All right, so if you could, You've all mentioned, at least in some regards, stepping outside of your comfort zone, trying something new. And so could you maybe share an instance about you stepping outside of your comfort zone, trying something new, interacting with someone who might not have initially been in your inner circle, and what that was like for you and how that helped you through your journey at Seton Hill? We'll go back the opposite way around. So we'll start with Lizzie this time.
Okay, so this past spring, I had the opportunity to go on an alternative break trip, which is just like an opportunity to travel someplace out of Greensburg. The place that I went to was Belize. I went with my girl Samara, that's also part of this chat. Definitely a different experience, out of my comfort zone for sure, but it was just so overwhelming, and how much not only we were able to make a difference, but the people there made a difference in us. We built a house in 3.5 days for our family in Belize, so it's just super cool experience. And if you have the opportunity to go on an alternative break trip, I definitely recommend it.
And Cece.
So I actually also got to do an alternative break trip the year before down in New Orleans, and that was amazing. And it was stepping out of your comfort zone to fundraise for the trip so that you could get there, and then also for your supplies, and then actually doing it. And that's something specific that Seton Hill does that I don't think that I would have gone to do if I didn't go to SHU.
And Samara.
For me, I like to consider myself a pretty outgoing person, and I feel like if you know me, you would be like, yeah, that makes sense. You're a pretty outgoing person. But that's very much like external. So I feel like internally, like I'm so like super shy, super nervous, like, when I first meet people. So when I first decided to become an orientation leader, I was like super scared because I also wanted to be a connections class TA. So I was like really nervous. I was like, what if these first years don't like me? Like, what if they think I'm just like the super weird girl? So like you have all these emotions going through your head. And then like, I'm also the kind of person like initially where I felt like if I'm met with a lot of energy, I can get like really overwhelmed. But I feel like a big part of orientation leaders is like energy, like welcome to Seton Hill, like we're here to have a good time. So for me, stepping out of my comfort zone to be like, okay, now I have to be the energy, but then remembering like I can bring the energy the same way I want the energy brought to me, if that makes sense. So I feel like that was something, stepping outside of my comfort zone. And then like when it came to connections class TA, like I remember our first connection class, I was just so nervous. I was like, oh my goodness, my palms are sweating. Like I hope they don't see me up here just like absolutely, out of my mind nervous. But by the third class, I was like, what's up guys? How you doing today? Let's start class. So I felt like it might seem scary at first to get out of your comfort zone, but then like the longer you're out of it, the bigger your comfort zone becomes. So do it, take the leap.
And so something that Samara mentioned, so out of our 31 orientation leaders, out of those orientation leaders is where we get our class mentors for our connections class. So our connections class is specifically for first year students to help them with the transition to college. So if you'd like to be a TA in a class, if you'd like to be an orientation leader, those two opportunities are synced together. And so that's what Samara was mentioning about. Todd, you share with us your story.
Yeah, going along with Samara, like I'm definitely like that outgoing person. Like there's not a lot of stuff I'll say no to, but at the same time, like I'm like a mental person. Like for myself, I'm always the person in my own head. So like the first year, because I'm a junior, so going back, like the first time I was a orientation leader, I was already at 17 credits, and I was like, I don't know if I could be an orientation leader. I can't talk to all these other students, but like going through it, that's the thing I look back at, and that's the thing that I didn't step out of with my comfort zone, thinking that I could do it or not. And now that I'm going to be a connections mentor, I'm really excited for it. Still nervous, definitely still nervous, especially with everything going on now. So it's like completely different. But, just taking that step, sometimes you have to just sit back and then see, but sometimes taking that step forward so you don't miss out. So I'm glad that at least now I get a chance to do what I didn't do before. So being a connections mentor is definitely one of the biggest things I'm excited about and nervous for at the same time.
Shannon.
So as a commuter also, I had to do a lot of things that were out of my comfort zone, to get involved and make friends. One instance was actually this past year. I joined Model UN, which is a group of students who, it's basically, you model UN and you write position papers on certain, like, you get a country assigned to you and you get your committee assigned to you, and then you travel to New York in the spring. However, we didn't get to do that this year, my first year being on it, but I met so many new people. Sure, they're in my political science department, but I feel like they wouldn't have been people that I would have talked to begin with, because I have my own circle of friends, and it seemed pretty solid, like up until junior year, like, and then I expanded my circle, my friendship. So meeting these new people and joining new clubs it never gets old. Like, you can never not meet new people. So even in your senior year, if you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have joined Model UN, then it's never too late. So.
And Courtney.
Yeah, all these people's stories are so awesome, like the way they stepped out of their comfort zone. Like, I'm pretty much very similar to most of them. Like I mentioned, I went home every weekend the fall semester of freshman year. Well, at the end of freshman year, I actually hopped on a 15-hour flight and I studied for a month in China, which was really awesome. So I got to study abroad, and it was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. And I honestly, as soon as I came back, I was like, okay, so when am I going back? When can I plan to go back? And things like that. So that was like way out of my comfort zone, because I really like being home. I like to keep things the way they are. So that was super big. And going with students who I had never talked to before, never met. We had like maybe 2 meetings beforehand, and I made friends who I'm still close with today. It's pretty incredible. And being on a team, sometimes it's a little hard to like understand that you can have friends outside of your teammates. I really hung out a lot with them. And so once I was able to go on this trip, I said, okay, like, these people are my friends also. And that's what helped me expand my circle, kind of how Shannon's story was. I joined a couple different clubs, and Samara and I are on the programming board together. Honestly, I don't know if we would have ever met if that wouldn't have happened. So definitely take advantage of what Seton Hill has to offer, because there's a lot of opportunities that might be behind hidden doors. But once you open them, like, there's just like worlds of opportunities. So definitely take advantage. And if you don't know how or don't know where to go, like, I know us 6 have taken advantage. We can always help. Matt's super awesome. His door is literally always open, like 17 hours a day or something like that. It's forever. But so definitely just ask. Like, everyone's more than willing to help you. And once you ask, then that's when you start to make your other friends too, and step out of your comfort zone some more. So yeah.
Awesome. And so, starting with some of the great questions that we've had so far, could you share some academic tips around balancing classwork with all of this other amazing things that you've been talking about? And so, Ta, would you mind sharing with us some academic tips of how you make this all work?
Yeah, Google Calendar is my best friend. I'm telling, like, if you don't have Google Calendar, get Google Calendar. A lot of people in the university use Google Calendar. So even if you use something else, definitely use Google Calendar, because you can also use it to sync up with other people's calendars to see if their activities or, anything conflict with yours, like your professors, if you need a meeting or anything above that, like, plan, if you just, it helps you keep organized and stay positive, because if you don't, you're going to look on your Canvas and you're going to have a assignment that's 0 out of 100 points, and you're going to be sick to the bottom of your stomach. So plan and have fun at the same time. Just make sure everything's aligned so you can take time to, do your homework, take time to go spend time with friends, eat, make sure you're eating, everything. Yeah. So that's like my big tip as far as, staying organized and balancing your life.
Shannon, some tips for academic life.
I think one of my biggest hurdles was trying to find out when I was most productive. So like if you are most productive at midnight, all the power to you. If you are an early riser and you just want to get up and get your day started, that's how I am, at least. I'll go to campus, even if I don't have classes, I'll go to campus at like 9 and sit in the library and do work, or just in the library and hang out and get my day started that way. I love Reeves, so I'm always there. But if you just want to figure out like when you're most productive and when you can get all your work done, I think that was my biggest thing, because I didn't prioritize. So I would be up until like 3 a.m. doing work when I know it's not the best work that I could do because it's 3 a.m. So.
All right, Samara, academic tips to help us out.
Well, I'm gonna piggyback what Todd said and definitely say invest in Google Calendars. And not just Google Calendars, but getting the app on your phone so you get notifications. I live and breathe by Google Calendar, and especially like he said, a lot of professors, a lot of faculty, they're like, oh, just check my Google Calendar and we can set up a time, you know? So that I feel like that phrase, I hear that phrase a lot, just check my Google Calendar, we'll work it out, you know? So definitely invest in Google Calendar. But something that I started doing last semester that I thought was really, not last semester, last school year, that I thought was really beneficial was Meredith Weber, who's an assistant director for academic achievement. She has this like semester long calendar. And at the beginning of the semester, I would look at every class syllabus and write down, oh, I have a quiz in this class or this assignment due, because at the collegiate level, once a syllabus is posted, unless the professor verbally says it has been altered, it's usually like, you have a test this day, it's on the syllabus, like check the syllabus. So I just basically took my syllabus and I put all of it on a calendar, and it'd be like, okay, green is cell bio and blue is OChem and black is whatever class, so that I can see, oh, I have a really busy week this week. I have 3 quizzes and 2 exams, but then the following week or the week before that is super laid back, so that it gives you the opportunity to get ahead. So if I know that this week I'm not as busy, but then next week I have a whole bunch of stuff to do, you can start working on your stuff for next week, you know, the week before. So that was really beneficial for me, to just have it all out. Every class, every assignment, just everything's right there for the entire semester. And if you do like maybe the first week or the first weekend before things really get busy, you just like, okay, well, maybe I can just do this assignment now since I have time. Like, don't push things back. Like, if you can get it done now, just do it now. You know, because I feel like there were times when I was like, oh, I could do this now. It's like, or I could watch Netflix. And sometimes I've chosen Netflix. But I'm telling you, don't choose Netflix all the time. And also, like, it's okay to say no to plans. Like, you don't have to feel obligated to hang out with people. You don't have to feel obligated to go out or do all this other kind of stuff just because people around you are doing it. Like, you can set those kind of boundaries with your friends to be like, you guys can go out and have a good time, or you guys can hang out or whatever, but right now I am allotting that time to focus on my academics, because at the end of the day, we're all here to get a degree. So yeah, it's important to get involved and to hang out and have a good time, but don't feel obligated to say no. Because one thing about me is I will say no if I don't want to go.
I'll do some follow-up with there. Samara mentioned Meredith Weber and her big calendar. You will have a chance to meet Meredith in Connections class, where she will talk about her semester-long calendar. Both Samara and Todd mentioned Google Calendar. And so if you haven't found out yet, when you log into the Seton Hill system and check your email, we are a Google school. And so that's where, for us, once you have your email account, Google will start to come pretty naturally. And if you're not familiar yet, Google Calendar also has pretty good syncing with the Google Meet feature. And so how things are now with COVID, it might be easier sometimes just to schedule a Google Meet with a faculty member or someone else to be able to do one of these with them as opposed to Zoom.
You can also like connect your Canvas page to your Google Calendar, so it can alert you when you have a quiz or an assignment or whatever due. And that is also, I'm telling you, Google Calendars, I'm telling you.
We can teach that in Connections as well. Courtney, some tips you have for academics. Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
So sorry.
That's all right.
Definitely invest in earbuds, because when you go to Reeves Library and you have earbuds in your ear, people won't necessarily bother you because it seems like you're really focused trying to get your stuff done. Also, I use Google Calendar a lot, but I also have like a real calendar, like you write stuff down like you would in like middle school and stuff. I definitely still do that. And I'm also a visual person, so I like my colors coordinated. So invest in these pens. I have this here. It's a Papermate Inkjoy pen. These are the best pens you'll ever use. But I would definitely say if you struggle with like the electronics in the Google Calendar, I'm really bad at putting my assignments in my phone or stuff, and just in general electronics. So I write everything down. That's not a bad thing. Also, like how Shannon said, like find your time when you're most productive. I'm most productive between 10 and 2 a.m., 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., which is really, really terrible, but it happens, and everyone's different. So definitely find that time where you can get your stuff done, and turn the TV off. Trust me, it'll save you a lot of time of trying to restudy again and again when you're not paying attention. So definitely, yeah.
CC.
Definitely all a good list. I do all three of them, like the semester-long calendar, the planner, and the Google Calendar, because that way I won't forget anything ever. And definitely, so FOMO happens. You're going to have a fear of missing out on things, but if you plan ahead, you're not going to have to miss out on midnight bingo to turn in that assignment or something like that if you plan ahead.
Very good tip. There you go. And Lizzie.
I'm also, like Courtney said, very color coordinated, right in my middle school agenda type of person. It's very helpful, especially with what Samara said, just writing down what the syllabus says with exams and quizzes and stuff. But also I really recommend, especially with like science classes and stuff, or any class, but talking to your professors and meeting up with them. They want you to succeed, and I know from speaking from personal experience, they're gonna help you no matter how long it takes. So they're willing to do, like, they're awesome. So just go to them if you need any help, because they'll help you.
Todd, you have a follow-up?
Yeah, no, just saying that going along with all this, basically our big thing is organization, but along with that, like making sure we're all using our resources that we have available through Seton Hill, like the writing center, the library, librarians. There's like people directly that will help you with your major, who can help you, like, if you need any help with bibliographies, any sources, citing, anything like that. So using all of those resources that you have available to you that are, through your tuition. So making sure that if you have it there, use it. I mean, like, I've gotten so many papers done, like well-written papers, because of the Writing Center. So like using them and having, like, those tutors that are available for each class, having a tutor, just asking a question, different things like that are all that are available to you, use them.
Courtney, are you hopping in?
Yeah, just real quick. If you receive an assignment at the beginning of the semester, do not wait till the day before it's due. I really speak from experience. I've done it 2 semesters in a row, and I've had to pull several all-nighters. That is the worst thing you can do to yourself and any kind of help you have. Don't. Like, there's a reason they give it to you in the beginning of the semester. Definitely use the time wisely, even if it's for 10 minutes a week or something. So.
All right, so we're going to do some rapid fire here. We got about 13 minutes left. All right, so whoever wants to shout out, because this might not necessarily pertain to you, so for any of our panelists, what is something that you brought into your dorm, your residence hall, that you used the most? The thing that you used most in your residence hall room?
My refrigerator. Shower shoes.
That's a fact. I don't live on campus, but that's a fact.
Shower shoes. It's something so tiny that you might overlook when you're packing, but they're so important, especially if you're living on campus with a communal bathroom.
Extension cords.
Extension
A
cord.
lot of
Uh,
cords.
But with extension cords, you need to make sure that they're the 3-pronged rounded extension cords, not
Yes.
the 2-prong extension cords, or else those will be a fire hazard, and especially if you have the 3-prong ones with the surge protector. Just because they sell it in the dorm section of Target or Bed Bath & Beyond does not mean it's actually allowed in a dorm. I will say that as a big disclosure. They just want your money, so they will sell you anything. But yeah, so make sure it's a grounded surge protector. That definitely helps. Anyone else things to bring into a residence hall? All right, we'll move into the next one. What is something that you wish you had brought to school with you initially, but you didn't bring, and then you learned you needed it, and so you got it, maybe not in the beginning, but you eventually got it?
umbrella.
Extra pair of shoes. I commute, so like if I have a jazz class or something and I have to switch shoes or something, just extra pair of shoes, extra pair of clothes. You know, you never know. If
For
you're
commuters, there you go.
Ibuprofen.
Okay.
Definitely like cold medicine.
Yeah. I'd say my magic bullet. Like, I didn't think I needed one until I got one, and I was like, wow, this is good. This is good stuff.
All right. What is something that you did bring to campus, but in hindsight, you found out you didn't need it, you wish you didn't brought it, and it just took up room and you had to take it back home?
Tupperware.
Tupperware?
Yeah.
I have so many like little decorations, like you were saying, Matt, that you just see in Target. You're like, oh my God, I'll put this up. This is so cute. That have sat in a bin my entire collegiate career. So I definitely say, like, if you know what residence hall you're looking in, look at the dimensions of the room before you purchase decorations, and also consult your roommate if you have one, because I remember I had like, I'm from the Virgin Islands, so I had my VI flag, and I bought a VI flag, but then I get to my room freshman year, and I was like, I have no space for this 26 by 11 flag. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. So, yeah.
I would definitely say, so sorry.
No, go ahead, Courtney. Sorry.
I would say extra of everything. You don't need it. Like, when you need it, you can go get it. You don't need to bring 3 bottles of toothpaste. I know, because I did it. You don't need to bring, like, I just don't bring extra of anything. When you need it, you can get it. You'll be surprised at how long it takes you to replenish on shampoo, mouthwash,
Laundry stuff. I have dryer sheets. I haven't bought dryer sheets my entire collegiate career because of how much sheets I bought.
Too. Still
Walmart
have, like,
very close to the school.
Yeah, don't bring extra of anything. When you need it, you can get it. You might not even need it till the second semester. And I used a whole shampoo and conditioner this past year that I'm still using right now. Don't bring extra.
So there was a question about which you won't be able to answer, but the MacBooks. I know the MacBooks will be shipping to you in July. You should get them by August. I do not off the top of my head know about the iPads. What I will say is that we will have members from IT who will be joining us for our Welcome Before the Weekend session that is this upcoming Saturday. I can also message them and make sure to reply back, which is why it's important to have your name in here. So I can find that answer for you and get that back out. But I do know that at least your MacBooks will be sent to you for domestic students, and you will receive those by August. International students, you will get your MacBook when you arrive to campus. And I don't remember the specifics of the iPads or not. Okay, so another rapid fire one. What is your best memory so far from your time at Seton Hill?
Midnight bingos.
What is Midnight Bingo?
Midnight bingo is what it sounds like. It's bingo. It starts usually around like 10:30, but student government puts it on, and that's like half the reason why I wanted to join student government last year. And so it goes until like 12:30ish, and we have all kinds of prizes. We have a budget on like how much we spend, and we buy like big prizes. Like we gave out AirPods one year, we gave out Xbox last year, like Google Home Minis and things like that. So it's so fun. I think last year we gave away a TV too. but it's like a really great thing to go with your friends. Like if you have like a large group of friends, you get a big table and you all get as many tickets as you can get, and it's so fun.
I'd say two things. One, the Belize trip that Liz was talking about earlier, literally changed my life. One of the best weeks ever. I'd say that's probably one of my best memories involved with Seton Hill. And I remember this very clearly. It was my freshman year, and it was midnight breakfast, and it was just me and my friends, and we just got a booth, and we were just sitting there eating pancakes at like 11 o'clock, and it was absolutely the best thing ever. Midnight breakfast is breakfast at midnight. It happens. It's during finals week, so it's like you're up studying anyways. You're in the library. You're stressed. You're hungry. You're broke. You want to go home, and you're like, "Oh, it's midnight breakfast." And you go and you get yourself a waffle and an omelet, and then you just sit down with your friends. And there's music playing. You don't have to use a meal type or anything. It's 10 out of 10. The best part of every breakfast component all at once at 11 o'clock at night. Like, because Courtney said, I'm most productive from 10 to 2. So that I have a second dinner anyways. So it's glad that my second dinner is breakfast.
Definitely, well, being a theater student, you know, being in the plays, being in the musicals, like being involved in those. But karaoke night, always fire. Like, you know, bring your friends, you know, be goofy. It's nothing serious. It's for people to just sing let the stress out, have fun, you know, do your thing. It's like it's from like, it starts at 12, starts at 10, usually goes to 12. Yeah, it's a great time. So yeah.
Even if you can't sing, like
Let's go.
I'm going this coming semester and I can't sing, but you guys can come and laugh and make fun of me and it's fine. So definitely go and try it.
We're just gonna cheer you on, you feel me?
My best memory would probably have to be similar to Samara, going to China. That was absolutely life-changing. Like, I just can't wait to travel. And then again, the midnight breakfast and midnight bingo, those are huge. They're a lot of fun, and great place to make a ton of new friends. Great place.
Another thing that I said I really enjoyed is going to athletic games is always really fun with your friends, especially if it's like a Saturday and it's like, oh, let's go to the football game, or let's go to the basketball game, or let's go to the volleyball game. You go, you get your school sprayed on, you cheer, you hang out with your friends. There's like usually music playing for like halftime shows and stuff like that. So I feel like athletic, and then it's like you kill two birds with one stone, because like you get to have fun and hang out with your friends while supporting our athletic teams and like showing your Griffin pride. So I feel like athletic games are always like really fun to go to. Even if you don't know the sport, I knew nothing about lacrosse, not a thing, but I went to a lacrosse game and I had a good time.
I don't think anybody said the homecoming tailgates.
Oh.
They're so fun. Like, there's food everywhere. It's just like they block off the street behind the field where they do football, and like it's before the homecoming game, and like there's just tents from like all the different clubs and orgs, whatever, on campus, and they have so much food and drinks, and it's so fun. I love it. That's like my favorite thing, actually.
Another thing I'll just say is the musicals and the performances and all the productions. It's incredible what your fellow students can do. Like, they are very talented. Definitely take advantage. It's pretty awesome, especially when you get to sit next to them in class, and you might not have a ton in common. Like, that's something you could definitely talk about going to see. It's really incredible what they do. So definitely go watch.
Student tickets are at a discount.
Yes.
Another thing I'd say, looking back on my time, anyways, is just hanging out in the dorm rooms. Like, I lived in Brownlee, and just going out in the common area, putting something on, and people walk past like, oh, what are you watching? I was like, we're watching The Office. I love The Office. And you sit down and you just make connections and you hang out with people. Or like the Super Bowl, every year for the Super Bowl, there's usually, you know, some kind of Super Bowl watch party that happens in the res halls. So like stuff like that where you're just hanging out, just chilling.
Yeah, I got two things too. So like Christmas on the Hill this year, which is kind of like a formal like homecoming snowball dance kind of thing. And you all get dressed up, which is which is a big deal in itself because college is college. Kind of wear like sweatpants and leggings a lot, but it's really fun. I can remember it was a stupid moment, but two of my friends were walking back from the dance to our dorm room. We lived like the farthest dorm away, and we had heels on, of course, so we were like limping like the whole way back because our feet hurt. But it was just so funny, and I like still laugh and remember it. But also what Samara was saying, just like random dance like parties in your room, like it happens a lot. Like I don't know why or what causes it, but it just happens a lot. And they're just so fun. So that goes along with like keeping your door open too. Like random dance parties can happen and you don't want to miss out on it.
Yeah, although those nights we just kind of go with the flow. They're like, hey, you want to hang out tonight? I'm like, sure. It's like, why are we at Walmart at 3 a.m.? I don't know, but it is what it is.
All right. Well, before we get going then, I want to share with you some information. And so thank you. All right, there we go. So thank you for attending today. Hopefully you had a good time. Hopefully you got your questions answered. Again, in regards to the specifics of the MAC, we will have someone from IT here at our Welcome to the Weekend session on Saturday to answer those questions for you. I'll also be able to reply to everyone who's in attendance as long as I have your name here. Hopefully, besides that, we've answered all of your questions. So thank you to our amazing student leader panel who shared about their time here at Seton Hill. If you have future questions, you can reach out to us. Take a screenshot if you want to, contact information for our wonderful student leader panel, find them on social media, connect with us as well. If you ever have any questions, you can find me at roadtothehill@setonhill.edu. The email address, we're checking that regularly. So if you have any questions, roadtothehill@setonhill.edu. And then also, don't forget that we have upcoming sessions this week. And so we have our session tomorrow, Life on the Hill with members of Residence Life at 6 o'clock. Thursday at 7 p.m. is trivia night. Sorry, family members, this one's going to be for students only. The top 3 winners will receive a gift card to the bookstore. It is through Kahoot, so you'll join us in Zoom where we'll ask the questions. And then if you have a computer, you can have 2 screens, or if you have a phone, you'll use that to answer the questions via Kahoot, but it'll be a great time. Win a gift card to the bookstore by answering some Seton Hill trivia. And then Saturday the 11th, we will have over a dozen different staff members present to you all and welcome you. We call it Welcome Before the Weekend because Welcome Weekend is your orientation when you arrive to campus. So this is really going to be a very big welcome to you all. President Finger will give a welcome. Various staff members will talk about the services that they provide. And so I hope you can all join us for the rest of the sessions that we have coming up this week. A reminder to our students that this session today counts towards your Who's Who at SHU part of the path on Shine. So if you attend 2 more of the Who's Who at SHU sessions, you can tell by the little logos when you log into Shine, that will complete that particular part of your path. Remember that if you complete your path, you'll receive an awesome SHU item when you arrive to campus. And so we hope you can participate in our future virtual orientation sessions. Thank you everyone for your time tonight. And we hope we've answered all of your questions. Otherwise, we will see you tomorrow night for Life on the Hill with members of Residence Life. Thank you, everyone. Take care.